Okay, here's a tutorial for the notes that you have today. Let me put this up out of the way. Okay, so let's just read over this and see what you're supposed to do. Remember, this is an attendance assignment, so if you're at home and you don't do this assignment and attach and show it to me, that it will be an absence. Okay, objective, we're trying to find missing links of similar figures. You need to know these couple of facts. Similar figures have the same shape, but a different measure. Okay, watch my hands. So if I have a triangle, think of the angles. In fact, let's look at this. If you make it bigger, the legs get longer, but the angles do not change. So the shape remains the same, but the measure for each leg gets longer. Okay, so these should be true also to you. Figures are similar if corresponding angles, that is an angle symbol. It's not an L, it's more closed. Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding sides are proportional. So they're not the same, but they match each other in a way. Okay, the ratio of corresponding sides is called the scale factor. Okay, so we're fixing to find out what all those are. Okay, directions. Use the triangles to the left to answer each question. Are the triangles similar? Well, we actually don't know yet, so we're going to answer that later. And we're going to use these scale factors to help us answer yes or no. Give the corresponding angles and their relationships. Okay, the corresponding angles. Excuse me. First of all, I'm going to say angle A. Now, this has 3 angles. Now, look from angle A down to the bottom on which angle is in the same place or the corresponding place. And we're going to put this. That is called congruent. And whenever you're using pictures, you say congruent. It's kind of like saying 2 people that are tall, maybe you wouldn't say they're equal, but they're the same height. So it's just another word that you use, corresponding, to show equal. Okay, now what angle is it in the same place of? Well, that is angle, if you look right back down here, it's angle D. So we're going to say that A and D correspond and they are congruent or equal. Okay, what about another pair of angles that are equal or congruent? Okay, by the way, what I'm doing is important. I'm going to scroll down and show you. Do you see how these 2 are in the same position? They're in the same position. Well, later on, you don't have that. Okay, do you see how these are flipped? So what I'm teaching you about these little marks in a little bit are very important to know. What do you do when the shapes are flipped from one another? Okay, so let's go back up here where we were. So hopefully you've thought about angle A is one of these angles, angle B is another. And what does it correspond to? That's, okay, you just got to go with it. If I erase everything I do wrong, let me see. Okay, angle B. What does it correspond to? Well, look at the position. You see it has a double angle measure here. This is double and this is double. So I'm going to say it goes with angle B. It's in the same position. It's got these little marks that are the same, angle marks that are the same. And the last pair would be angle C. And if I look down in the same position and they have the same angle marks on them, well, we're going to say it's congruent to angle F. Hopefully you're guessing these before I'm writing them. Okay, give the corresponding sides and their relationships. Okay, the sides. This is not side 4, it is not side 5 or side 7. This is side AB. So I'm going to write AB. And it is proportional to, so we're going to put similar because it's not equal. It's proportional to, oh, and let's put this up here. This means it's not a ray, it's not a line, it's a line segment. So when it stops and stops, line segment. Okay, now what is it, similar to? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm writing that. Okay, look in the same position. From A to B, I'm going to say from D to E. And I'm going to put a line over it. Okay, now I have 2 more. Hopefully you can stop this and say what they are or write what they are before I even get to it. We have line AB and BC. Okay, I'm looking at BC and it goes with EF. Now notice these two little angle marks and these three little angle marks, I might call these doubles and triples, go from double to triple down here also. So there is a second reason why I know what I'm writing is correct. Okay, and put line segment marks on top of these, and I'm gonna go ahead and put these early. Okay, we've had side AB, BC, and now CA. All right, CA. And what does that go with from C to A? Goes with from F to D. Okay, so those are all true. So let's slide down. We still can't answer number 1 yet. Okay, what is the scale factor of AB to DF? Now, do you notice it's bigger? From ABC to DEF, it's bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a fraction bar, 3 fraction bars, because we have 3 sides, equals in between. And I'm going to start writing the ratios, because we got to get a scale factor. Let's see what it said about scale factor. The ratio of corresponding sides is the scale factor. So I need ratios. So let's look at this. Now, again, reading this is very important, and I'm going to read this in order to understand what goes in these places. Let me get me a little highlighter here. I'm going to try to highlight A and D because they go together. I don't know if this is going to work because this is pretty fat. And this blue for C, and this one's for F. Okay, hopefully that still makes it clear. So I'm going to look at from A to B, yellow to green over here. So whatever I use for the top, I have to use for the bottom. But I'm going to go in reverse order because I know from here to here it gets bigger. And I know these are bigger numbers. So think of this AB, side AB, and on the top, excuse me, on the bottom, and side DE on the top. Okay, AB, 4. Okay, AB goes with DE, so I'm looking for from D to E, so 8 goes on the top. Okay, so these two are corresponding because of the letters they go to and from. Okay, next one. Look at the green and the blue. BC and EF. Okay, BC and EF, they do go together. So I'm gonna write 10 on the top. Okay, what is EF? 10, excuse me, we just did that. And now we're going from B to C, which is 5. Okay, so now we're gonna go wrap around from the blue to the yellow. Blue to the yellow, blue to the yellow. Okay, F to D. I'm looking for it. F to D is 14. And from, okay, F to D to, from A to C. Okay, there it is, 7. Okay, now what I need to do is divide all of these and see what the decimal is. And I can divide these in my head. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 7 to, oh, I got these upside down, don't I? If you were here, I'm sure you would have corrected me. Okay, and if you divide those, you get 2. Okay, now look at the next one. What is the scale factor of, if we go kind of in reverse order, from D to E, okay, and we have that. So basically we can flip all these over. So I'm gonna go ahead and write 4 over 8. Five over 10, and 7 over 14. Now, if you divide those, first number on the top number first, you're going to get 0.5 or 1/2. So I'm going to write 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and I know those are equal. And I'm looking at this, and the ratios all match, so I know they're proportional. And if they're proportional and the angles are equal, then they are similar. So I'm going to put a big yes here. And again, the numbers prove that out. Okay, going on, similarity. Okay, we're gonna need these pictures. It says a valid similarity statement must match corresponding angles and sides. Write a similarity statement for the triangles above. So go ahead and write two big triangles, put some space between them, put congruent, because basically they are similar. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a similar, so I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay, now we're going to put 3 letters here and 3 letters here by looking at these triangles. So for the whole triangle, I'm going to say that A goes with D. Notice I'm going to the other side. I know that B corresponds to E. And I know that the last angle, C, corresponds to F. Okay, now I'm going to write a wrong one on purpose. Okay, but you need to watch to see when it is wrong. Okay, so this is going to be a mistake, again, on purpose. Okay, now I'm going to say C, and you think, well, Miss Williams, that's wrong. It starts with A. No, not really. It's not wrong yet. So if I say C, and then I put F first over here, I'm actually still correct. Okay, if I put A, okay, what goes with A is D. If I put A with D, then I'm still correct. So if I put C-A-B, okay, hang on, and I put the wrong letter, somehow I got D again, then I'm wrong. Because C has to go with F, A has to go with D, and B has to go with what? E. So this is wrong. Even if the first one's out of order, the second one has to be in the same order.
Emma Rogers, please report to the front office. Emma Rogers, please report to the front office.
Okay, because the sides of similar figures are proportional, you can use a proportion to find a missing side length. Simply match up the 2 pairs of corresponding sides. So we're going to write a proportion, and then we're going to solve. Okay, so let's look at this. Remember when I talked about these round things? I'm going to call this a double and this is a single. And we've just got to get the right things to the right numbers matched up. First of all, do you see I'm going to put 1 mark here and 1 mark here because I'm going from 2 to 1, 2 to 1. Or double to single, double to single. So I know 2 and 3 correspond. Okay, now I'm going to look at the A and the X and I'm going to say, I'm going to put a double mark here because they go from single to double, and they're in the same position. So, okay, by the way, what I'm fixing to write would be wrong if I put the X here. In other words, the same position goes here, but the same figure goes here. So 2 is here and 8 is on the same figure. So they have to go as numerators. And then the last number, of course, is X. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cross multiply. 8 times 3, I can do that in my head, is 24. And 24 divided by 2 is 12. So this answer is 12. Okay, now I'm going to do one that's flipped. Okay, so this is going to be one, and again, do you see this right angle corner is flipped over? And look, these are not in the same position. So we have to totally depend upon these angle marks to get everything straight. So I'm going to write a proportion. Okay, now another thing I'm going to show you is, do you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, but I only need 4 for a proportion. So 2 of these numbers aren't even going to be used, but I know I have to use X. So I'm going to put X. Now what does X correspond to? Okay, here I go. I have a right angle mark and a single. So I'm going to look around. Where is the right angle mark and the single? Okay, here they are. So I know these 2 go together, they are corresponding. So I'm going to put 11.25. Okay, now I need a second set Okay, now I have 4 numbers, but again, I can just choose one. I don't need both. Let's go for 8 since it's smaller. So I'm gonna put a double mark here, and I'm going from the right angle corner to the double. So I'm looking over here, right angle corner to the double. So I know 8 goes with 6. So do you see they have the same mark? So over here, now remember X is on the first one, so 8 has to be on the top because they're from the same figure. And then 6 has to be on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to cross multiply and divide and find X. Okay, I'm going to let you do that. And of course, check your answers in the stream. Excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to get you started on number 9. Do you see the single marks? I'm just going to help you mark. Okay, X. That's going to be my 1. I'm going from triple to single. Over here, I'm looking triple to single. So do you see X and 24 are corresponding parts? Okay, then I'm going to pick the only other one I have, and I'm going to put double marks here. And again, I'm going to look at these angle marks between the double and the single. Okay, that's over here. So this is my double mark. So now I know these 2 are in a ratio and these 2 are in a ratio. But make sure you put 8 and 28 on the top because they're from the same figure. Okay? Okay, what I want you to do is stop the video and finish 1 through 10, and then start the video again because number 11 and 12 are a little tougher. You don't want to see 11 and 12 if you're still not even sure about number 1 through 10. Okay, so stop the video right now. Okay, so let's talk about this. What you need to do is, first of all, we have to match sides with those little marks. Okay. Okay, it says, given triangle PQR is similar to triangle SQT, find ST. So I'm going to put an X here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, then I'm going to put these little marks to know which sides go with which. Okay, ST. So do you see S to T? I'm going to put a dot here and a dot here. So I'm looking for P to R. Okay, so I'm going to start making my proportion. X, P, R is down here. So I know X goes to 48. You could have guessed that. Okay, let me get a different color. Now we got to find 2 more. So let's pick this number because really 38.4 isn't really a side. Do you see that? It's not the side of a triangle. So I'm going to pick 25.6. That is S to Q. Okay, do you see S to Q? And that is 25.6. Hang on, are we on the same figures? Yes, this is on the little triangle, this is on the little triangle. So 25.6 is correct. Okay, now what do we need? We did S to Q, so now we need P to Q. So I'm going to look at P and say, how far is it from P to Q? Okay, my students guessed this morning in class, I think you would have. Okay, we're going to have to add those 2. Okay, again, this is not to an angle. It makes more like a trapezoid. If you add that, you get 64. So from P to Q is 64. Okay, now to find X, you cross multiply and divide. I'm going to leave that to you and check it in the stream. Okay, last one, number 12. Okay, number 12, it says, given triangle CDE is similar to triangle FGH, find DE. So I'm looking at DE, and that's where I'm going to put my X. Okay, so I'm going to start with X. Okay, from D to E, so I'm going to say from G to H and put that number here. From G to H is 11 2/3. Okay, now I'm going to just pick another one. So we have this and this. Now, you want to pick 8 or 6, it doesn't matter. Let's pick 6, it's smaller. That's from C to E. So let me get a different color. From C to E, I'm going to look for F to H. Okay, so what measure F to h is 10. So I'm gonna put a 10 here. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's put those numbers in. Now x and 6 are on the same figure, so I gotta put them on the same as both those numerators. And then the other one is 10. Okay. Okay, I need to check that. From C to D, I'm sorry, from D to E is X. G to H is 11.2. Okay, got that. And then 6 is C to E, blue. F to H is 10. Okay, so here we go. Remember that if you have a mixed number that you want to make it easy to put on a calculator, you want to multiply 3 times 11 is 33, and then 33 plus 2, so you add up here, and you get 35. So I'm going to say 35 over 3. Now I'm going to circle it because that's what you got to put in your calculator first. Okay, so go with me. Put 35 divided by 3. I'm going to do the same thing. 35 divided by 3, and then times 6, and I get 70. And then divide by 10, and I get 7. So the answer is 7. Okay. Make sure you attach pictures of your work and send it in so you won't be absent.